10 days ago, the United States and Israel launched a joint military strike on Iran. They killed the supreme leader on day one. Today, oil hit $120 a barrel. The Dow dropped 700 points at the opening bell. Japan's stock market fell over 5%. South Korea's fell 6%. And Iran just named a new supreme leader, the dead leader's own son. This is not slowing down. It is accelerating. Welcome. I am Arthur Graves. This is Apex News. Tonight we are covering 3 stories that are now one story. The war with Iran, the oil crisis it created, and the financial shockwave hitting every American at the gas pump and in their retirement account. Let us start with what we know. On February 28th, the United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury. Coordinated airstrikes hit Iranian nuclear sites, military facilities, and the leadership compound in Tehran. Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed in the first wave. His wife, his mother, and one of his sisters were also killed. He had led Iran for 37 years. Since then, the war has not stopped. 10 straight days of strikes. Iran has fired hundreds of missiles and drones at Israel, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. The Pentagon confirmed today that a 7th American service member has been killed, a Space Brigade sergeant. He was wounded in an Iranian strike on a base in Saudi Arabia on March 1st and died from his injuries. In Lebanon, Israel has launched a parallel bombing campaign against Hezbollah. Nearly 400 people have been killed in Lebanon in the past week. 83 of them were children, according to UNICEF. More than 500,000 Lebanese have been displaced, and there is the school. On February 28th, a strike hit a girls' elementary school in the Iranian city of Minab. At least 168 children were killed. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the Pentagon is still investigating. New video evidence suggests the weapon used was a Tomahawk cruise missile. That would make it American. The investigation is ongoing. The death toll as of tonight, more than 1,200 dead in Iran, nearly 400 in Lebanon, 11 in Israel, 7 American troops. Now, here is where every American needs to pay attention, because this war is no longer just happening over there. It is hitting your wallet right now. The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. It is 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, and roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passes through it every single day. That strait is now effectively closed. Iran did not need a navy to shut it down. They launched a handful of drone strikes near the waterway, and insurance companies pulled their coverage. Without insurance, shipping companies will not send their tankers through. It is that simple. One analyst called it an insurance-driven shutdown. No mines, no blockade, just drones and economics. Oil that was $67 a barrel on February 27th hit $119.50 today. That is a 66% increase in 10 days. The fastest surge in oil prices in over 40 years. What does that mean for you? The national average for a gallon of gas jumped 51 cents in 1 week. It now sits at $3.45. And analysts say if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed for more than a few weeks, oil could reach $150 a barrel. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard has warned it could go to $200. The stock market responded exactly how you would expect. Japan's Nikkei fell over 5%. South Korea's market dropped 6% and had to trigger a circuit breaker to halt trading. Germany's DAX fell nearly 3%. In London, the FTSE dropped almost 2%. When Wall Street opened this morning, the Dow plunged nearly 700 points. The S&P 500 dropped 1.4%. The Nasdaq fell 1.3%. The only stock market in the world that went up today was Norway, because Norway exports oil. Economists are now using a word that should concern everyone: stagflation. That is when the economy stops growing. But prices keep rising. It is the worst combination. The International Monetary Fund estimates that every sustained 10% rise in oil prices adds nearly 0.5% to inflation and cuts global growth. President Trump responded to the oil spike on social media. He called it, and I am paraphrasing, a very small price to pay for ending Iran's nuclear threat. He added that only fools would think otherwise. That is the President of the United States telling Americans that $100 oil is acceptable. And then Iran made a move that changes everything. On Sunday, Iran's Assembly of Experts, an 88-member body of clerics, announced that Mojtaba Khamenei would become the country's new supreme leader. He is 56 years old. He is the son of the man the United States killed 10 days ago. His mother was killed in the same strike. This is not a peace signal. This is a defiance signal. Mojtaba Khamenei has deep ties to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He has never held elected office. He has never given a public speech. Most Iranians have never even heard his voice. But he has been operating behind the scenes for decades, cultivating power within the most hardline elements of the regime. The IRGC pressured the Assembly of Experts to vote for him. According to reports, Assembly members who argued against his appointment were given limited time to speak. Discussion was cut short, and an Israeli bomb hit the Assembly building in Qom after votes were cast but before the count was completed. Trump had previously said that Khamenei's son would be an unacceptable choice. Israel's military had threatened to kill any successor. Senator Lindsey Graham said on social media that the new leader would meet the same fate as his father. Iran's response. Hours after the announcement, the Revolutionary Guard launched a new round of missiles and drones at Israel and Gulf states. 32 people were injured in Bahrain, including children. Bahrain's national oil company declared force majeure, suspending all contractual obligations. Their sole refinery was attacked. Russia pledged what it called unwavering support for the new leader. China said it opposes any targeting of him. And a senior Israeli defense official told reporters that Israel plans to dismantle Iran's military forces within 3 weeks. 3 weeks. That is the timeline we are now working with. Here is what to watch this week. First, the G7 finance ministers are meeting to discuss releasing strategic oil reserves. If they do it, prices may stabilize temporarily. If they do not, expect oil to keep climbing. Second, watch the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's foreign ministry said today that all tankers passing through must be very careful. If shipping does not resume soon, the supply disruption becomes structural, not temporary, structural. Third, watch American gas prices. If they cross $4 a gallon this week, the political pressure on the White House changes dramatically. Midterm elections are 8 months away. Fourth, watch for Iranian retaliation targeting energy infrastructure. They have already hit oil facilities in Bahrain, desalination plants in both Iran and Bahrain, and refineries across the Gulf. If they hit Saudi Aramco facilities, this crisis doubles overnight. And fifth, watch the new Supreme Leader's first public statement. If Mojtaba Khamenei calls for negotiation, this war may have an off-ramp. If he calls for escalation, there is no ceiling on how far this goes. Here is where we stand. 10 days in, 7 American soldiers dead, 1,200 Iranians dead. Oil above $100, markets in free fall, a new supreme leader who owes his power to the very forces that want this war to continue, and a president who says the pain is worth it. This is the most dangerous week in global politics since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And it is only Monday. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. I will have the next update the moment something moves. I am Arthur Graves. Stay informed.